Hey, what's going on? Ryan here, Triathlon.com. Check it out. You're here at the World Headquarters. We've moved upstairs from the dark, dingy basement because I need to show you my computer and what I'm going to be talking about this time on this video is looking at the race from the spectator's point of view. So if you haven't gotten your family or whoever's going with you or who you want to go with you to cheer you on board, now's the time to be working on it. You know, at the time of this, making this video, we're in January, the race is in April. So we're going to assume all systems go. So if you want your family to be there, your friends, whoever you got coming with you to be there, to be engaged, to be supporting spectators or supporting Sherpas, you need to make sure that they're taken care of. So not only are you planning your race and your day, you need to make sure that they're on board with what they're going to do while you're out there suffering your 140.6 miles. So I'm going to go through kind of the run, the bike, and the swim course, and what maybe where they should be and what they should be doing. And we'll just kind of go in on the area and kind of things to do around the area, maybe that are family friendly, that are adult friendly. We're not talking about extreme adult friendly things, but we're talking about things for entertainment value, movies, or just shopping or whatever you want to do. Stuff that, you know, if you're not a total Ironman triathlon nut and focused on the race, you may want to do other things in the area besides focus on hanging out in Ironman Village and doing everything triathlon. They may want to do something else, so we're going to go over kind of what I would recommend for my time doing Ironman Texas in 2014, what might be the best strategies to help your spectators have the best possible experience with you, so they'll want to come support you and they'll want to come in the future and support you in future races. So let's dig into it, and I'll flip the camera around. Hold on. Magic of technology. So we're going to start off. This is just a Google Maps of the Woodlands area. Lake Woodlands, this is the swim, North Shore Park, that's where it's going to start. And the majority of the run happens around the lake and around this the Woodlands area, the Woodlands Mall and all this good stuff. So we're going to jump into it. So on the course, on the swim, like I pointed out, you're going to start at Lake Woodland. You're going to start at this park over here that is the North Shore Park. So basically you'll come over to transition kind of somewhere in this area. And there's, you can actually kind of see it. There's a nice walking path. So you're going to drop all your stuff off in transition as an athlete, and you're going to walk over here towards the start. So your spectators, and I'm sorry, the focus doesn't want to focus, but hopefully you kind of see, at least in the outlines. So what you got is when you drop all your stuff off in transition, they can't go in there with you, but you can drop off your special needs, check your bike, do everything you need to, and then come back out, meet your spectators, and if they want to watch you do the swim start, you can all walk down the path to the swim. So they can stand in the park and watch you start. So when you're going in, doing the rolling start, you jump in, they come in, and you're doing your swim. There should be enough time that they can walk back over to transition and watch you come out of the water. If you walk quickly, watch your athlete come in and then walk down the path, come back to transition, and actually you can come around and find them as they get out of the water and finish the swim. So that's why I recommend, as far as race day, what to do with your spectators in the morning. If they're going to come watch you, they could probably watch you take off, then they come over here real quick, and they could try to catch you as you come out of the water. Because if you notice a swim down Lake Woodlands, down the little canal, back to transition, and then you pop out of the water here, and then you're right there, and you hop on your bike and you take off. So if you want your spectators to see you from the start, they can probably see you from the start for sure, and they can probably catch you in transition. So, you know, depending on how long that swim's going to take you, an hour, 2 hours, whatever, that's going to be, should be plenty enough time for your spectators to walk from North Shore Park back to transition, watch you come out of the water, watch you get on your bike, and watch you take off and wave. So once you get out there, we're going to go check out the bike map. So this becomes a little tricky. My wife in 2013, when I did my first on Ironman Lake Tahoe, tried to catch me out on the bike, and it didn't really work well because there is so much traffic backed up. You know, the main race is along the highway here. There's the special needs area is marked with an SN and a little purple triangle. So there it is, or rectangle. So this is the point at which you might stop and have time to wave and say hi to somebody. But most people in a hurry when they stop at special needs to get their stuff and get back on the road. So I don't know if that's going to be working out the best for a spectator to be hanging out. If you do want to catch your athlete out on the bike, I would go out, I would stalk the aid stations, so water aid stations, and possibly be hanging out there, have your signs, yell and scream at your people, if they want to stop for a minute and get off and hug you and give you a sweaty hug or whatever, and then jump off and ride off later. So past that, here's transition. And it's 2 loops, so you do have some time. Maybe you come out here to an aid station. You want to bring your signs and say hi and support. Wave at them as they come out. Wave at them as they go back. And then start going back to transition. You want to catch them, so they're going to come out and do one more loop. And then you can see them in transition. So the one main thing with is the bike ride is, if you're spectators, if they want to catch you and be able to catch you in transition, probably need to be pretty close. Because once they fly here past, because this right here, you take a right and then go back out. So once they pass you, they're going straight to transition. They're not doing this little bootleg. So if you catch them on the last loop, they're going to beat you back to transition more than likely, because traffic through here is going to be, unless you're way out here and you've got your magic way to get out in the back roads and get back to transition, you might miss your athlete. So I would just give that as a word of caution on the bike. 6 hours, 8 hours, how long you think it's going to be. Like I said, it's for the most part fairly flat. There's some headwinds you got to deal with, so it just depends on how fast your athlete or you're going to ride it, how much time they have to work with. I would suggest trying to catch them on the first loop. Say hey, wave at them, hug, whatever, and then let your spectators go get lunch, get food, get snacks, get whatever, get refreshed, and then have enough time to get over to transition to catch you coming off your bike. Because that's also the big boost of energy when everybody comes out of the transition tents. You're full of energy and you want to feed off the energy of the crowds, and that's where most people are hanging out, yelling and screaming and cheering for their athletes. So once you get out on the run, notice it just goes around Lake Woodlands. So the big thing is it comes through these canals here. And this, look at the run course, it kind of comes through this section right here. So it's pretty much, once you get to the highway, you turn around. And this, it's a pretty nice area. I mean, you can go into Google Maps, zoom yourself. I mean, it's a kind of a river walk area. There's sidewalks on both sections of the river. So you can hang out on this side or that side. Problem with being on the other side is you're going to have to kind of find your way back when they come to the finish line right over here. You want to make sure that you're on the correct side of the river walk to make it back to the finish area in time. So that's going to be the big key. Is when you or your athlete is out there running, they're doing 3 loops of this run course. So if you time it right, you can catch them a lot of the time. And all you got to do is once they pass you, when they come through here and they do their turnaround, they come over here, they do this loop, they're going to come over here. And to do their loops, they're just going to loop around and come back. So you can catch most of the action right here. And then on the last loop, you can catch them as they run by, maybe see them on the other side, maybe go on the other side, say hey, because they got a little bit more to run, and then come back over here and catch them in transition. Just be careful on that third loop that you give yourself enough time to get over there and see the athlete or your spectators have enough time to come over and see you finish. So that's a big key. They can probably catch you on the first loop, the second loop, pretty comfortably. If they want to see you running on the third loop, they're going to have to catch you and then run over. They can go on the other side of the river walk and then jet over and then head over to the finish area to see you finish, because that's going to be the most important part. You want your spectators to be there at the finish line, and you want to see them at the finish line because you're going to have a long day and you're toast and you just want to be done. You want to see the people, your people, and you probably want real food at that point. So that's the main thing, is you want food, you want to be stopped moving, and eventually you want to get as clean as possible as soon as possible. So you don't want to be looking for your spectators. You don't want to have them miss the finish line. So make sure they're aware that if they see you at a certain point, that means you better get to the finish line. And you've got the Ironman tracker, so they can follow you as you go along to see where you're at if they lose track of you at any time. So if they're expecting you at one spot and you didn't make it, it's like, well, where'd he go? And they could check the app and see where you're at in the course relatively. You can see where people have crossed the time at. So that's going to be the key for the run. Making sure that you're in the right place, Make sure you're camping out the right place. Like I said, this waterway, there's restaurants here, there's parks, there's stuff for kids. So this is a great area. If you set up shop here in this public space, North Shore Park has got some stuff. So if you wanted to actually hang out at the park to see your spectators a few times, it's got a playground area. So maybe on the first 2 loops, you see your athlete, and then you hop on over and come to the finish line area, and you're just hanging out here. You've got plenty of time if you see your athlete on the second loop, or if they're on their third final loop, to come over here, catch them at North Shore Park. As they're going along here, you're walking back over into the finish line, and you see your people right at the finish line. So maybe that's a good spot. If you got kids, they need a playground. North Shore Park has a pretty good playground. So even at the swim start, if the kiddos aren't interested in what's going on, but the spouse is, send them to the park. So that's mostly what I would recommend. As far as spectating goes, I think a key too is, I've always had issues when you're the athlete out there running, you're really tired, you're worn out, you're anxious not to miss anything, you're trying to be kind of in a hurry. So when you're coming into the finish line, there's lots of people there. There's, even during daylight hours, there's lots of lights because they're going to take pictures of you as you're crossing the finish line, so they want good photos. So you're going to have stuff pointing in your eyes, blinding you a little bit. And when you get done, you got your kind of circle of influence that's about 2 feet out from you. Past 2 feet, you're not really aware of what's going on. If people are yelling and screaming your name, you're not really aware. Especially my first couple of Ironman, you're zoned out unless you're specifically thinking of, okay, where are my people? Then you got to focus. Because especially with COVID and distancing and restrictions, it may be even more difficult. So I'd recommend your spectators have like a balloon of some sort, a helium balloon or a cellophane helium filled balloon that's unique. Some weird balloon that you can find them that somebody's carrying around tied to their backpack or something, so they can locate you at all times. Other than that, there's people wearing all kinds of clothing. They all look the same, and you've got your name on your race bib, and people are going to be saying, "Hey, great job, Ryan," and you're like, "Do I know you? I don't think I know you." And then you got another one, "Hey, Ryan, good job," and it's like, "Oh, is that you? Is that who I'm looking for?" No, it's not who I'm looking for. So you're going to be dehydrated. You're going to be malnourished by the end of the race. You're going to be exhausted. So it's going to be tough to try to focus, to realize if that's your person that you need to care about. And once you run by them, you realize, oh, hey, that was my wife. And you're like, I'm already past them. I don't feel like going back and then repeating that distance. So I'll try to come and catch on the next loop. So make sure your spectators stand out in the crowd. Pink neon hats, pink neon shirts, something that is unique to your people, that you can find them, a balloon that they can carry around, that it's them. Pick something unique, a banana balloon, a heart balloon, something that you can track them down, especially during the end of the race. Maybe not have your spectators right next to the finish line, but have them a little bit far out when the crowd kind of thins out, that way that they can cheer and yell and you can see them and hug them or whatever you want to do, and then run into the finish line, because you can't bring your kids, can't bring your family. So once you get on the carpet, don't try to bring your family or anything down the finish line. So that's what I'd recommend on race day for your spectators and spectator plan. But what do you do with the rest of the time you're hanging out? Usually the day before a race, you can't check in, so you need to be there 2 days before a race. So that is where I think the Ironman Texas is kind of set up well, because if you look at the Woodlands area, they've got all kinds of stuff. They got movie theaters, they've got markets, they've got a mall, they got Dick's Sporting Goods. If you need anything, Nordstrom's, Container State, wine store, whatever you need, it's pretty much right there. And if you zoom out, you're kind of in the Houston area. So, you're outside, you're north of Houston, but when you're here, it's pretty much Houston. It's crowded. This is all populated area. This has got stores, it's got everything. So, and it's a nice kind of more upscale type of area. So you've got lots of choices. I would definitely, there's parks, there's other things to do. If it's raining, there's, like I said, there's movie theater. And we're going to make the assumption that COVID's not a deal. Movie theaters are good. Going to stores is good. Going shopping is okay. They got Whole Foods Market. They've got Chipotle's. They've got restaurants. They've got stuff you can carry out, order. You can sit down and eat. So really, Ironman Texas, it's kind of different and unique in the fact that it's not kind of set out away from a heavily congested area or populated area. So it's all right there in the woodlands. So where that, it's kind of like Ironman Chattanooga, where it's in Ross's Landing. They got shops, they got restaurants and stuff, but actually it's kind of Ross's Landing times 4 or 5. That woodlands area is expansive. They got tons of stuff. So even during the race, when your spectators have 6 or 7 hours to kill while you're on the bike, if they don't feel like, trying to track you on the course, they can go do stuff. They can go see a movie if they wanted to. They can go to the store. They can go shopping. So when you're running on the course, your spouse or significant other can show you all the things that they bought, and while you've spent all your money on doing a race, a bike, and running shoes. So hopefully that kind of helps you out. Gives you a good idea what your spectators can do. You cannot swim in Lake Woodlands. They'll try to set up a kind of open swim for the athletes, but kids, families, it's not an open swimming area, so you can't really do that. But there's a park there, all kinds of stuff for kids, for families to do. When I did it, it was in May, so it was a little bit warm, but in April, it shouldn't be too bad, too horrible. So there should be plenty of time to go outside. I think there's golf courses nearby. There's tons of different things to choose from. So there should not be any kind of limits on things that you need to keep yourself entertained or your family entertained. So that's kind of it in a nutshell for Ironman Texas. It's the spectator point of view of what to do with them before the race, during the race, after the race. There's tons of things to do, keep everybody entertained. Just look at the area, plan it out. Hey, we're going to do a movie this afternoon. When we get in, we're going to go shopping over at, looking at the map, Whole Foods Market. There's a Walmart grocery store. There's all kinds of stuff. There's hotels right next to it. The main convention center is kind of the Ironman hub anyway. So the hotel's right there. You could just park your car in a parking garage and not have to go drive anywhere. Everything you need is pretty much right there. So basically that's it in a nutshell for spectators for Ironman Texas. If you got any questions, as always, put them in the comments. I hope this helped you out, and happy training out there.